In the previous video, we talked about two different ways to find the lowest common multiple or least common multiple. The first way is to list all the multiples of each, not all, first few multiples of each number, and then find the first common one. The second method is to use prime factorization. The steps are breaking down each number as prime numbers, and then multiply and line up the same prime numbers. And if they are different, we always create a new column. And that way we can see what numbers are containing each number, and then put those numbers together, multiply them together. That will give us the least common multiple. Because we saw that 2 and 3 are containing 6. And if we put 2 and 3 in the least common multiple, and that would make 24 a common multiple. And if we bring down this 2, 2, 2, and that will guarantee 24 contains 8, which is also a multiple of 8. So next, we're going to look at an example of 3 numbers. So we try to find the least common multiple of 6, 15, and 28. And this time, because 28 is relatively big, I'm going to do the second method, prime factorization. So remember the first step, we break down 6 as prime numbers, which is 2 and 3. And then we break down 15 as prime numbers, which is 3 and 5. And 28, when we break down, we will get 2 times 14, but 14 is also 2 times 7. So again, if you have trouble factoring these numbers, please watch the previous videos about prime factorization. So after we break them down, notice how I wrote these numbers down. Now, usually the first number you can write down 2 times 3 any way you like. You can put 2 and 3 closer together. But when you write down the factors of 15, which are 3 and 5, now notice we start with the first column. But the first column already has a 2 there. Because remember, we start with 6. We already wrote down 2 and 3. And then when I start writing down the factors of 15, the first factor I had is 3, which I cannot put it here because the first column is a column of 2. So I'm going to move on to the second column, and it is a 3. And they match, and so I can put my 3 in the same column. And then the next is 5. Again, I cannot put a 5 in the first column because it's a column of 2. I cannot put a number here because we already have a 3 here. We cannot put in the same column. Every column for each number, we can only put one number down. So that's why I have to create a new column to put down this 5. Now now we have first row 2, 3, second row 3 and 5 with these two 3s line up. And now I'm going to write down the factors of 2, 2, 7. So why do I put them like this? So I start with 2, and I start with the first column. Now I found the first column is also 2. They match. So I can just put down my 2 here. But then my second number factor of 28 is also 2. Again, I cannot put in first column anymore because I already put a 2 here. So I'm going to try to put in a second column. But the second column has a number 3, and 3 and 2 don't match. So I'm going to move on to the third column. And the third column has a 5. 5 and 2 don't match. So I'm going to have to create a new column, the fourth column, so I can write down a 2. So the general rule is we don't want to put different numbers in the same column. This way it will help us to bring down numbers. And next we're going to write down 7. So again, first column is a 2. We actually already have a 2. We cannot put another number here. Second column, it's a 3. 3 and a 7 don't match. 5 and a 7 don't match. And the fourth column, we already have a number. So we have to create a new column and put the 7 down here. So after we wrote down all the factors, now we just need to, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. For each of these 5 columns, we're going to bring down one number. So we have 2, 3, 5, 2, and 7. And now we're going to multiply all these numbers together. So for example, 2 times 3 is 6. And then we can go ahead and multiply this 5 and 2 to get 10. And 6 times 10 is 60. And 60 times 7 is 420. So the answer is a very big number. With this solution, the factoring method is the best way. You could also try to find the least common multiple by making a list, but this could be very tedious because we have to list the multiples for 6 and then 15 and 28 all the way to 420, which can take quite a while. So we're going to start with, for example, we're going to start with making a list of multiple of 6, and notice that we have to list so many numbers so we can get 420. And multiples of 15, a lot of them also. Multiples of 28, a lot of them. And this method will take quite a while to eventually find the common multiple 420. So first method you can see is much quicker, much easier. And also this first method can also be used to find the greatest common factor. So we're going to look at that in the next video.